What is the first impression you get when you watch a horror film?
Probably apprehension for not knowing what's about to happen. Kind of when you've previously watched a horror film, you kind of know something's going to happen, but you don't know when. So that's the worst thing.
Well, there's a lot of tension in the atmosphere, so I suppose that's probably my first impression.
What would you expect to see in a traditional horror film opening?
Some sort of girl, young teenage girl maybe, on her own, traditionally in a house, and then the bad guy or the monster or something gets her, and then you don't actually see what happens, but you just see the girl murdered.
Someone getting killed, probably.
Would you expect the antagonist to be fully identified in the opening of a horror film?
No, I don't always expect them to be quite barely any of them shown, sort of to keep up the sort of unpredictiveness of the film and sort of keep the audience watching and scared.
No, because then it creates like a mystery to think.
What features do you expect the antagonist to have in a horror film?
Nothing that we can associate with, so very dark, very grimy, so we feel nothing for him or she, just feel absolutely like scared by the sheer presence of it.
Maybe dark clothing, like a hood or something, mysterious, quite a creepy body language.
How many characters would you usually expect there to be in the opening of a horror film?
Probably 2 or 3.
2, 3.
What reaction would you expect from the typical victim in the opening of a horror film?
Total fear, which would then pass on to us as the audience, and so I personally I would be watching it and I'd feel the person's fear, and it would pass on to us, and then we'd almost feel like we were in their shoes.
An uncontrollable fear.
What techniques are used to entice you at the start of a horror film?
Generally, very good use of cinematography and like a lot of good sound, because there's always like that typical sort of scary music that immediately puts you on edge, and along with some great like shots where you never actually see the monster, you just sort of see bits of the antagonist.
Normally there's not much lighting, so it creates tension. The camera work is normally quite fast paced, switching between different cameras, so it builds up your heart rate.
Would you prefer a horror film to have a very slow, intense opening or a fast, action-packed one?
I would say fast, but the slow, intense opening sort of grips you, and then you get very nervous, and then that's what really grabs what really grabs me when watching a horror film personally.
I'd say between the two.
Why?
Because if it's too slow, then you get bored and you end up shutting out. But then again, if it's too fast and too action-packed, there's too much to take in, so you don't really get that full tension.
What locations would you expect to see at the start of a horror film?
Maybe like some sort of like maybe either a sort of high school or a house with only one person in it, or maybe like a lawn like yard. That would be that would probably be what I think. Yeah.
Ooh, it's like a mansion, like a big scary castle, lightning, storm.
Does different lighting techniques affect the way in which you feel whilst watching a horror film?
Yeah, definitely, because the way, say, a lot of lighting depends on like how the antagonist is portrayed, because if the antagonist is shown clearly with lots of good lighting, it would clearly like not make us feel as scared. But the fact that like a lot of dark lighting is used, it makes like the audience even more apprehensive and more scared, which is what the director's aiming to do.
Yeah, it can do. Yeah.
Why?
So if like there's lights flashing or something, you can't really see the full picture. You start to get like a bit agitated.
What colours would you associate with a horror film?
Probably red, black, very dark colours, grimy, sort of grey, possibly a lot of dark colours like that.
Black, red.
Does the way in which a horror film's opening being edited together affect the way in which you feel about it?
Yeah, definitely, because if it was poorly edited with just lots of shots of, you know, the one character, either the antagonist or the lone girl, it wouldn't be as effective. But the fact like there's always a lot of switching shots between them makes us feel like that we're there and that we're watching it. And it's very always very vitally used.
Oh yeah. If it's been edited to be like really fast and a bit of the heart rate, it's edited to be like quite slow, then it'll make you think more.
What props would you expect to see in a horror film?
Knives, some sort of maybe chainsaw or machete or some sort of killing weapon or something like that, or maybe a mask or a boiler suit, something that gives the antagonist a scarier look.
Knives, creaking doors, dark broken trees, creepy crosses.
What do you like most about horror film openings?
The unpredictiveness, the fact that you never really know what's going to happen. You always have the feeling something's going to happen, but you never know when or if anything will happen at all.
Probably the fact that it creates tension in you, gets you scared, gets you like a little taste of what's to come.